Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a privilege for me to welcome you to the Future of Education Summit 2020. We have here this morning an eminent group of speakers who represent a cross-section of the education sector. Like a lot of you, I'm looking forward to hear their views on where our sector is heading and how we should prepare for the future. Who would have known when we met in Johannesburg exactly a year back that we'd be going into one of the most catastrophic phases in history? Not since 1918 has the world seen a pandemic of this proportion that has brought the whole world to a standstill. Our lives have been so predicated on analytics that we've taken the future for granted. Little did I know when I took a flight from Cape Town to Dubai on 14th March this year that I'd be in a lockdown for 7 months. And before March 2020, I did not comprehend truly what a lockdown actually meant. We have all experienced the onslaught of COVID-19, both professionally and personally. The impact has been severe, but we've managed to get by. If there was ever a meaning to the sentence living by the day, we saw it firsthand. Though the pandemic is far from over, we have learned how to protect ourselves and to some extent cope with it. As we wait for the silver bullet vaccine, we must not take our eye off the ball and continue to look at the future and see how to adapt to the changes we are likely to see. As a family-owned business, we currently own 2 universities and have a first-hand experience in dealing with the current crisis. Our first reaction, like everyone, was despair, caused by the fear of the unknown. As the variables kept unfolding, we began to assess the situation with a clear focus on business continuity at the center of all our decisions. At the heart of business continuity was the safety and well-being of our students and staff. Even before the government directed the stopping of face-to-face delivery of classes, we were amongst the first to adapt to an online teaching model in Dubai and in Ghana. Being partners with 2 of the world's leading universities, we were able to adapt to the change expeditiously as we had the best minds working together. Investing in technology, broadband, teaching and learning resources was the easy part. The novelty of studying from home was great when it started out, and a lot of students adapted very fast to the change. However, the learning and experience from the ensuing period was when the realities came to bear. Our internal research has demonstrated that over the last 6 months, there was internet fatigue, need for social interface, restricted space at home, excessive monitoring by parents, absence of student life, and most importantly, the lack of face time with teachers. We have been talking about blended learning as the future. The pandemic catalyzed the transition, but the lessons have opened up a series of interesting challenges even in the blended learning model. Another issue that has been exposed is student mobility. Hundreds of thousands of students migrate from developing countries to the US, UK, Australia, and Canada for better educational opportunities. This student mobility has reduced by almost 20% in the new academic year starting in September-October 2020. For those institutions relying on international students, the outcome has been severe. I believe that there will be a concerted effort now to relook at the globalization model and see a trend towards localizations through greater international collaborations. Additionally, there has been a false notion that online education is cheaper than face-to-face delivery. Being an education provider, we know that our costs did not reduce. On the contrary, our costs have gone up to adapt to the online model and will continue to increase as we are likely to have a dual delivery model. Owing to a sharp decline in student numbers, most educational institutions are facing significant budget cuts that will lead to capacity and research constraints. In Africa, we have more fundamental challenges in technology, availability of broadband, the last mile connectivity, availability of laptops, and the cost of data. There are therefore a lot of impediments relating to learning outcomes and therefore the practicality of online education in Africa, particularly in the short term. A lot of countries in Africa do not have provisions for student loans. The pressure therefore remains on parents to meet tuition expenses. The increase in global unemployment and uncertainty of economic recovery has forced parents to withdraw their wards from colleges. This will delay a large number of students from entering the workforce and flags the need for reforms in the financing of student loans. We also have to consider the demand side of the equation, where students want to move faster into the workplace. We are witnessing a change towards more skill-based training, integrated credit-bearing stackable programs, and challenges on monitoring and certifying the skills that have been imbibed by a student that could be acceptable to employers. Finally, and most importantly, our regulatory environment has to be overhauled. How do we regulate into the future for maintaining high quality, study across borders, and get seamless certification that has unified accreditation? This is a complex task. All the above challenges require vision and creativity that embrace the changing paradigm to rebuild the education model. There are a lot of think tanks around the world reviewing the education value chain. We will need the will of our policymakers to move away from our archaic education system and start getting to grips with the needs of the future. Unemployment is the number one indicator of economic growth, and capacity building is integral to future development. Without changes, we will see a lot of erosion of long-term value that African countries can ill afford. I have painted a high-level picture with current realities. There are a multitude of additional matters that will be addressed in the discussions with our esteemed panelists today. We have speakers from all over the world, and this forum is all about thought leadership and collaborations. We have to work together, leveraging our individual and organizational strengths for a better future. Finally, I'd like to thank the Transnational Academic Group, SAP, and Pricewaterhouse for supporting this forum. We could not have done it without you. With these words, I welcome you all to what I believe will be an excellent and interactive forum. Your presence and contribution is appreciated. Thank you very much.